Money, everyone wants it, everyone talks about it, everyone chases it. Yet so few truly understand how to keep it, nurture it, and make it grow. And that's the truth that most people learn only when it's too late. When the bank account runs dry, when the excitement fades, when the shine of a new purchase dulls into the weight of another bill. I've seen it happen so many times. People work day and night, pouring sweat into their jobs, hustling hard, grinding endlessly, only to end up wondering, where did it all go? You see, money isn't just paper. It's a reflection of your mindset, your habits, your emotional control. Without discipline, it vanishes, like sand slipping through your fingers, no matter how tightly you try to hold it. I want you to imagine this. You're standing on a beach, both hands full of dry sand. You grip it tighter because you don't want to lose it, but the more you squeeze, the faster it slips away. That's what money without discipline feels like. You can earn thousands, even millions, but if your habits aren't aligned, your thinking isn't controlled, your spending isn't guided by purpose, then it doesn't matter how much flows in, it will all flow out. I've seen people who make little yet live peacefully because they manage every rupee with intention, and I've seen those who make fortunes yet drown in stress because their lifestyle runs faster than their income. The real difference? Discipline. You can't build wealth with desire alone. Desire starts the engine, but discipline keeps the wheels moving straight. Money loves order. It stays where it feels respected, organized, and planned for. If you treat it carelessly, it leaves silently, and it doesn't send a goodbye text. The first time I learned this lesson was when I got my first decent paycheck. I felt unstoppable. I bought everything that made me feel good in the moment. New shoes, dinners out, little luxuries that whispered, "You deserve it." And yes, maybe I did. But what I didn't deserve was the regret that came 2 weeks later when I looked at my empty wallet and realized that my excitement had cost me my peace of mind. That's when I understood. Earning money is easy compared to keeping it. The real challenge is not income, it's restraint. You see, discipline isn't about restriction. It's about direction. It's the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, you're just a ship without a compass, moving fast but going nowhere. Think of every dollar, every rupee as a soldier. Without discipline, your soldiers wander aimlessly. With discipline, you build an army that works for you, protects you, and fights for your future. But that army needs leadership, you. The question is, are you leading with purpose or impulse? Because your habits tell the truth about your leadership. If every time you earn, you rush to spend, you're building castles on sand. But when you earn and then pause, plan, save, invest, you're laying foundations of stone. And stone foundations don't crack easily. Discipline means saying no to short-term pleasure for long-term peace. It means understanding that the high of spending fades faster than the pain of regret. The truth is, every purchase is a decision about your future. When you buy something you don't need, you're trading your tomorrow for today's thrill. It's not about being cheap. It's about being smart. It's about asking yourself, will this still matter in 6 months? In a year? In 5 years? If the answer is no, you already know what to do. And I get it. Discipline doesn't come naturally. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows through repetition, through discomfort, through patience. But the reward? Freedom. Financial freedom isn't about having more. It's about needing less. It's about control, the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're not one paycheck away from panic. That control doesn't show up overnight. It's built day by day, decision by decision. You don't suddenly become disciplined, you practice it. You start small, track your spending, set aside a fixed percentage of your income, avoid impulsive buys. Every small act of control is a deposit into your future security. And one day, that discipline compounds. It grows like interest, not just in your account, but in your character. Because when you master discipline with money, you start mastering discipline in every area of life. It teaches you patience, focus, self-respect. It builds confidence from the inside out. The most powerful people I've met aren't those flashing luxury. They're the ones who live quietly, confidently, knowing they've built something real, something that doesn't depend on luck or a good month. They've learned that money, like respect, only stays where it's earned and protected. So if you ever wonder why your money disappears, don't look at the world, look at your habits. The moment you decide to control your emotions around money, to stop chasing validation through spending, that's the moment you start building wealth that lasts. Because here's the truth. Money without discipline is a visitor. Money with discipline becomes a resident. And the goal is not just to make money, it's to make it stay, grow, and serve your life's purpose. Remember, the same fire that burns can also cook your meal. It's not about the flame, it's about control. Discipline is that control, and without it, the fire of money will burn through everything you've worked for. And when you finally understand that money isn't the problem, discipline is, your entire mindset starts to shift because you stop blaming circumstances and start building systems. Systems are what keep the disciplined ahead of the distracted. A disciplined person doesn't wait for motivation to show up. They design habits that make discipline automatic. That's why wealthy people don't think about every purchase. They've already decided their rules. They know exactly where every bit of their income goes before it even arrives. Their savings, investments, expenses, charity all have their place. And that's what you must do. Give every dollar a destination before it gets lost. You can't let your money wander because wandering money never comes back. Think of it like water flowing through channels. If you don't guide it, it floods and destroys. But if you control the flow, it nourishes, it builds, it sustains. You can't stop the rain, but you can build dams and channels. That's what discipline does. It creates the structure that transforms chaos into control. Every time you budget, every time you resist a useless expense, every time you review your goals, you're building those channels. You're teaching your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. I once met a man who earned more in a month than some do in a year, yet he was always broke. I asked him how, and he said, "I don't even know where it all goes." That's the danger of undisciplined wealth. It disappears quietly, hidden behind small, constant leaks. That daily coffee, that impulsive gadget, that random night out, they all whisper, "It's just a little." But 1,000 just a littles can drown an empire. Discipline doesn't mean deprivation. It means prioritization. It means you choose what truly matters and let go of what doesn't. You can't have everything, but with discipline, you can have what's meaningful. You start to realize that the joy of stability outweighs the thrill of splurging. That waking up debt-free feels far better than any new outfit. And here's the thing. People around you might not understand. They might call you stingy, boring, obsessed, but when you're focused on building a future, you stop explaining your peace to people addicted to chaos. Discipline sometimes means walking alone for a while. It means ignoring the noise of instant gratification so you can hear the quiet voice of long-term satisfaction. It means saying, "Not now," so you can later say, "I'm free." Because financial discipline isn't about how much you earn. It's about how you behave when you earn. It's about training yourself to make money your servant, not your master. You've got to command your finances the same way a general commands an army, with clarity, with purpose, with consistency. And yes, that means sacrifice, but sacrifice is never loss when it buys freedom. Every dollar saved is a soldier freed to fight another day. Every impulsive purchase avoided is a victory over temptation. Every investment made with patience is a seed planted for tomorrow. And I'll tell you this, money grows where discipline waters it. If you neglect it, it dies. If you overindulge it, it decays. But when you care for it with wisdom and restraint, it multiplies. Think about a farmer. He doesn't eat all his harvest because he knows he must keep seeds for the next season. That's what disciplined people do. They enjoy today while protecting tomorrow. They don't hoard out of fear. They save out of purpose. That's the difference between scarcity and security, fear versus foresight. Fear makes you hold money too tightly. Foresight teaches you to hold it wisely, so create a system for yourself. Automate your savings, budget your expenses, track your habits. Not because you want to live small, but because you want to live smart. Discipline doesn't shrink your life, it secures it. It gives you the power to choose without panic. It transforms "I can't afford it" into "I choose not to spend on it." That's real wealth, freedom of choice. And when you operate from that space, your confidence changes. You walk differently because you know you're not at the mercy of luck or the next paycheck. You're in control. That control radiates into other areas of your life too. Your health, your relationships, your mindset, because discipline isn't something you apply only to money. It becomes who you are. You become consistent, reliable, unshakable. You start trusting yourself because you keep the promises you make to yourself. That's what most people miss. Discipline is self-respect in action. When you say, "I'll save this much," and you actually do it, You build trust with yourself. That trust becomes the foundation of your confidence. Without it, you live in self-doubt, constantly reacting to emotions instead of leading them. But once you start leading your habits, money follows your lead. Because money doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to structure. That's why some people always seem to attract opportunities. They're ready for them. They've built systems that can handle growth. You can't manage big money with small habits. If you can't control 100, you won't control 1,000. That's why the best time to build financial discipline is before the big money comes, not after. If you don't train your hands when they hold little, they'll drop the heavy stuff later. It's not about luck. It's about preparation. And preparation is discipline in disguise. Every small act of control you practice today prepares you for the responsibility of more tomorrow. So stop waiting to make more before you manage better. Start now with what you have where you are. Because discipline doesn't depend on numbers. It depends on mindset. If you can learn to manage one, you can manage 1,000,000. It's the same principle, just multiplied. The habit of consistency is what multiplies everything else. It's like compound interest. It looks small at first, almost invisible. But give it time and it explodes. That's how disciplined wealth works. It grows quietly until one day people call it sudden success. But it was never sudden. It was built in silence, protected by patience, powered by discipline. You don't have to move mountains overnight. Just move one pebble every day in the same direction. That's how fortunes are built. That's how freedom is earned. And that's how money stops disappearing. Because money without discipline evaporates, but money with discipline compounds. And once that realization settles in, that discipline isn't punishment but protection, something powerful begins to shift inside you because you stop seeing control as confinement and start recognizing it as liberation. Think about it. How can you ever feel free if you're chained to your impulses? How can you claim independence when your emotions control your spending? The truth is, the more disciplined you become, the freer you get. People often misunderstand freedom. They think it means doing whatever they want, whenever they want. But that's not freedom. That's chaos dressed as choice. Real freedom is having the power to choose what's right, not just what's easy. Discipline gives you that power. It's like steering a powerful car. Without control, that speed can kill you, but with mastery, it can take you anywhere. Money is the same. It's a tool, a vehicle, and discipline is the steering wheel. Without it, you crash no matter how much fuel you have. You can have millions, but if you don't have the habits, the mindset, and the structure, you'll still feel broke inside. You'll still live in fear, wondering when it'll all slip away. That's why I tell people, if you want to build wealth, build discipline first. Money will follow a disciplined person like gravity follows mass. It's attracted to structure, to responsibility, to purpose. And you can start cultivating that today. Let me tell you a story. There was a young man I once knew who worked 2 jobs just to keep up with his lifestyle. He was exhausted, always chasing, never catching up. One day, after another sleepless night, he realized something. He wasn't working for his dreams, he was working for his distractions. Every gadget, every dinner, every trend was stealing the energy that could have built his future. So he decided to flip the script. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" he began asking, "Does this move me closer to freedom?" That single question changed his life. Within a year, he paid off his debts, built a savings fund, and started a small business. The money didn't magically multiply, it was the discipline that did. He started directing his focus like a laser instead of scattering it like confetti. And that's what you can do too. Because money responds to clarity. It doesn't like confusion. The more specific your goals, the stronger your discipline becomes. You can't be vague about your dreams and expect precise results. You have to write them down, break them into steps, and guard your actions like a watchman guarding treasure. Every time you're tempted to spend carelessly, ask yourself, is this worth the peace I'm trading for it? Because that's what undisciplined money does. It steals peace. It buys momentary highs at the cost of long-term stability. And here's something people don't talk about enough. Money problems are rarely about money. They're about habits, mindset, and emotions. Fix those and the money takes care of itself. Think of your financial life like a garden. Money is the soil, but discipline is the gardener. Without discipline, the weeds of waste and impatience grow wild, choking the potential of your seeds. You can't just throw cash around like seeds in barren ground and hope for a harvest. You must water, wait, prune, protect. Every budget is a fence around your garden. Every goal is a seed planted in faith. Every delay of gratification is sunlight allowing the roots to strengthen. That's how real wealth grows, slowly, quietly, under the surface, until one day it blooms for the world to see. But most people quit too early. They want instant harvest without seasons of growth. They want the fruits without the roots. And so they jump from one thing to another, from paycheck to paycheck, never giving their seeds time to mature. Discipline teaches patience, and patience multiplies money. Because the market rewards consistency, not emotion. And the same applies to life. When you stop reacting and start responding with discipline, everything changes: your health, your peace, your relationships. You start realizing that the person you're becoming matters more than the money you're earning. Because wealth without wisdom destroys, but wisdom with discipline creates abundance. The disciplined don't chase money. They attract it. They understand timing, they plan, they execute, they endure. They don't get jealous when others seem ahead because they know slow growth is real growth. Fast money burns fast. Patient money compounds quietly. That's why when you look at the richest people, you'll find one thing in common: it's not luck, it's control. They've mastered themselves before mastering money. Because money is an amplifier, it doesn't change who you are. It exposes it. If you're careless, it magnifies your chaos. If you're disciplined, it multiplies your peace. That's why I always say, don't chase more money, chase more mastery. You can't manage what you can't control, and you can't control what you don't understand. Learn your habits. Track your patterns. Face your weaknesses without shame. Because awareness is the beginning of discipline. Once you see your leaks, you can seal them. Once you identify your triggers, you can replace them. The goal isn't perfection. It's progress. You'll slip sometimes, you'll make mistakes, and that's okay. Discipline isn't about never falling. It's about getting up faster every time. Each recovery builds resilience. And resilience is wealth's best friend. It keeps you going when results are slow, when temptations scream louder, when doubts creep in. Discipline whispers back, stay the course. And if you stay long enough, the results always show. Think of money like a reflection. It mirrors your mindset. If you're chaotic, it's chaotic. If you're stable, it's stable. That's why before fixing your wallet, fix your world inside. Learn to delay gratification. Learn to value simplicity. Learn that happiness isn't in the price tag. It's in the peace that comes when your choices align with your goals. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to buy your worth. Your worth is built in, not bought out. The people flashing temporary success will fade, but those quietly disciplined will rise steadily, unshakably. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize that what seemed like small sacrifices were actually giant leaps toward freedom. You'll see that every time you said no to waste, you said yes to peace. That every time you resisted the impulse, you strengthened your future. That's the invisible magic of discipline. It feels hard today, but builds ease for tomorrow. It's delayed comfort for lasting calm. So next time you think discipline is boring, remember, chaos is exhausting, but control is empowering. Choose your pain, the pain of control or the pain of regret. One lasts minutes, the other lasts years. And once you taste the stability discipline brings, you'll never want to go back. You'll start to see money not as something to chase, but something to guide, protect, and grow. You'll stop wondering where it went and start telling it where to go. And that's when money stops disappearing and starts multiplying. And when you finally reach that point where you've built the habit, where money starts working for you instead of against you, that's when life starts to feel lighter, because discipline doesn't just protect your wallet, it transforms your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone capable of control, someone who leads rather than reacts, someone who can create stability in an unstable world. And that's power, the quiet kind of power that doesn't need to boast, because it's rooted in consistency. The truth is, money is never the goal. It's the result. The goal is becoming the kind of person who can handle responsibility without losing balance, success without arrogance, wealth without waste. Because undisciplined money is like a storm, it destroys more than it builds. But disciplined money is like rain. It nourishes growth. It sustains life. It turns effort into abundance. And that's what you're doing every time you choose order over chaos, purpose over impulse, vision over distraction. You're training your future self to live free. You're breaking generational patterns of financial stress and replacing them with wisdom. You're proving that it's not about how much you earn, but how much you learn about yourself in the process. Discipline teaches you that the real richness isn't in things, it's in peace. Peace of mind when bills come. Peace of mind when the market shakes. Peace of mind knowing you've built something solid that can weather storms. And let's be honest, discipline isn't glamorous. It's not a viral moment. It's quiet, it's daily, it's sometimes lonely. But that's where the magic hides, in the unseen moments when no one's watching. When you make the right choice, even when it's hard. That's when character is forged. That's when financial freedom is born. You won't feel the results immediately, but one day it'll hit you. You'll check your savings, your investments, your peace, and realize, I did this. You'll see that discipline was never your enemy. It was your armor. It protected you from the storms of impulse and the floods of regret. And if you've ever wondered why some people seem to keep winning while others stay stuck, it's not luck, it's habits. Winners build habits that protect their focus. Undisciplined minds build habits that destroy their progress. The secret isn't magic, it's management. Managing yourself, your energy, your focus, your money. It's understanding that discipline doesn't limit your life. It defines it. Because a life without structure is a life without direction. You can have dreams, but if you don't anchor them in discipline, they drift away like clouds. The world is full of dreamers who never built systems, and systems always outlast dreams. That's why your goal should be to create financial order that outlives your emotions. Emotions change daily. Systems endure decades. You might wake up one day tired, tempted, or discouraged, but your system will still guide you. That's the beauty of discipline. It's stronger than motivation. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the firewood, and the longer you feed that fire, the warmer your life becomes. Remember, every act of discipline pays you twice, once in peace and again in progress. Every budget you create is a step toward clarity. Every unnecessary purchase you skip is a step toward control. Every investment you make in knowledge compounds forever. That's how the game changes, not with luck, not with shortcuts, but with daily intentional action. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent, because consistency beats intensity. Small, disciplined steps outlast big, emotional leaps. It's like water carving stone, slow, steady, unstoppable. You might not notice the change daily, but time always rewards persistence. 10 years from now, you'll either be grateful you built discipline or regret you didn't. The choice is being made right now, in the tiny decisions you make each day. The coffee you skip to save for an investment. The impulsive buy you resist to stay within budget. The night you spend learning instead of wasting. These are the invisible battles that shape your destiny. And don't underestimate them, because money doesn't disappear overnight. It disappears one undisciplined decision at a time. But the same way, wealth doesn't appear overnight. It appears one disciplined choice at a time. Every yes or no you say to yourself is a direction. So ask yourself daily, where is my money going and what story is it telling about me? Because money speaks, it tells the truth about your habits louder than your words ever could. It reveals what you value, what you fear, what you prioritize. And when you start directing that story consciously, you start living with purpose. That's when wealth becomes more than numbers. It becomes meaning. You'll realize that money itself was never the master, it was the mirror. And when you look into that mirror with discipline, you'll see growth, self-respect, and power looking back. Because the ultimate goal isn't to have more things, it's to have more control, more peace, more purpose. Imagine waking up one day knowing you don't owe anyone, knowing your future is secure, knowing your peace isn't for sale. That feeling is priceless, and it's available to anyone willing to pay the price of discipline. No shortcuts, no tricks, just focus, consistency, and time. That's the real formula. And if you ever feel like giving up, remind yourself, the pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. You've already struggled being undisciplined. Try struggling with purpose this time. One struggle leads to chaos. The other leads to control. Choose the one that builds you. And when others doubt you, when they laugh at your simplicity, let them. Because in time, your quiet results will make the loudest noise. Your calm will speak louder than their chaos. And they'll wonder how you did it. And you'll smile because you'll know it wasn't luck, it was discipline. Every late night you resisted, every impulse you mastered, every plan you followed, they all added up. You turned money into a tool, not a trap. You built stability instead of seeking status. You learned that wealth is not just about numbers in a bank. It's about strength in your heart, control in your mind, and peace in your soul. And now, as you listen to this, I want you to make a promise not to me, but to yourself. Promise that you'll stop treating discipline like a burden and start treating it like a gift. Promise that you'll protect your money with the same care you protect your dreams. Promise that you'll no longer let impulse decide your destiny. Because the truth is simple yet powerful. Money without discipline will disappear, but money with discipline will multiply beyond measure. So here's my challenge to you. Starting today, track everything for 30 days. Every expense, every purchase, every decision. Not to judge yourself, but to understand yourself. Awareness is the first step to mastery. And once you see the patterns, start changing them one at a time. Replace waste with wisdom, hurry with patience, guilt with gratitude. You'll be amazed how quickly things shift when you start paying attention. This is your moment to take control, to build habits that your future self will thank you for. Don't wait for the right time. The right time is now. Because every day you delay, you let chaos take another dollar, another dream, another piece of peace. Don't let that happen anymore. Decide right here, right now, that your money will no longer control you, you will control it. Discipline is your weapon. Use it. Discipline is your shield. Guard with it. Discipline is your compass. Follow it. And if you ever forget why you started, remember this truth echoing in your heart. Money without discipline will disappear, but money with discipline will build an empire of freedom, peace, and purpose that no one can take away.